this video, what I want to talk about is the different procedures and the process of going through getting to Japan right now. So the first thing that I had to do was apply for a temporary visitor visa. And so I had to fill out a form, provide different proof of different things about why I was going and how long I was going to be there. I had to provide a detailed schedule of like every day and accounting for where I would be and my activities on that day. So the reason why I'm going to Japan, or I came to Japan, was because my wife is Japanese and she's still over here. Because of coronavirus, I haven't been able to see her since it all hit, so it's been about a year and a half. And normally they wouldn't let people in, but having a Japanese spouse is one of the special circumstances that they will allow a visitor in for. So I was able to take advantage of that and come over. So I applied for that visa back in maybe March or so, I want to say, and it took 2-3 weeks for them to approve it, but they did, and they sent it back. So I had to get a hold of the Japanese consulate. For me, the closest one was Miami. So got a hold of them. We went through the process, and they approved it. From there were different forms and things I had to fill out. I had to get a coronavirus test done within 72 hours of my flight to Japan. That's the key thing. It's not just your original flight leaving from home, but your flight to Japan. That made a big difference for me because I had a couple connections. It was hard to be able to find somebody that was able to do the test within the proper time, because there's only certain types of tests that you can use, and they have it listed out in the form that you had to get filled out. Most of the places were, we'll get this back to you in 3-4 days, and it's like, I need this in like 36 hours, because with my flight to Japan, and when I left originally from home, that was all the window that I had there. So I had to get that done. I got that done. I had to give the doctor a form to fill out, and he had to fill out, was it positive, negative, how they collected the sample, what type of test it was, when they collected it, when they got the results. They had to fill out information about the doctor's office and even stamp it, because Japan loves their incon. And if you're not in a country with incon, which most places aren't, I think that most doctor's office have like one of those standard like stamps, with like their name and address, and that's what we used. If not, I don't know. I would say get the doctor to initial over it, but that's not any like official guidance from me. So I had to get the corona test. I had to write a written pledge, which was more or less just writing my name on the front of a paper and filling in some information on the back. More or less saying, hey, I understand the rules. I'm going to stay in my room. I'm not going to go out and about. I realize that if I do, I can get kicked out of the country. I can get fined. A big thing that they're saying is your name will be published. So, don't want my name published. So I had to do that. What else did I have to do? I had to fill out a questionnaire. And the hard thing is, on the questionnaire, they want to know your flight and what seat you are on the flight. And I didn't know that. I was flying on American to Vancouver, Canada, and then from there I flew JAL over here to Japan. So with JAL, I didn't try all too hard, but I couldn't really pick my seat. Didn't end up really mattering. But on the questionnaire, they wanted to know about my seat, and I was like, I can't do this. I don't know my seat yet. So when I got to my home airport to leave, they were like, no, you gotta have this filled out first. So they said, just make up a seat. So I did, and it was pretty close to actually where I ended up being. So I got to the airport finally after having all that information filled out and all the forms, and first thing they had somebody, telling you go to this line, and she checked my paperwork immediately. So I go through the line, get to the counter, and the lady at the counter, she checks my paperwork as well. So finally, I had to do the questionnaire, step to the side, get back up, and she prints out my boarding passes and all. Really, really nice lady, and it turned out to be. But yeah, so then I, get on my flight. I went to another state, then I flew up to Canada. And coming into Canada, it was really interesting because there were, people on the flight, but enough that everybody had their own row, which was really nice. Um, but you land at Canada, and I was the only one that was going for a connection. Everybody else was getting off in Canada, which was like, okay, interesting. Airport was pretty much empty. I was sitting down and eating lunch at A&W, Vancouver A&W. Eat it, amazing. It is the best fast food I've ever had. Um, but I was sitting there eating, and one of the gate attendants came up to me and was like, "Hey, hey, is this you? When you're done eating, come see us because we have to check your paperwork." So I'm like, okay. So it's not a big deal. I have all my paperwork. It's already been checked. I've got my visa and my passport. So they're checking over it, and they're like, "Do you have any proof that you're actually going to go see your wife? That you're actually married? Anything like that?" And it's like,